In my opinion, the verb tener is the third most important verb in Spanish. And yet so many Spanish learners don't know how to use it correctly. Learning how to use tener correctly is key to understanding how the Spanish language works. And that is what we're going to learn in this lesson. Hi, my name is Rafa del Toro from Spanish Speakr, and I'll help you start and continue your exciting journey in learning Spanish. So let's get started. The verb tener is another widely used verb in Spanish. Its English translation is usually have or have got. Let's start by conjugating it. Yo tengo, tú tienes, usted tiene, él tiene, ella tiene, nosotros tenemos, nosotras tenemos, ustedes tienen, ellos tienen, ellas tienen. So how do we use the verb tener? This is when it gets interesting. Number one, we use tener to tell the age of a person, animal, or thing. Let me give you some examples. Mi mejor amigo tiene 40 años. Este árbol tiene 90 años. Esas casas tienen 50 años. If you want to ask about a person's age, in Spanish we ask how many years they have. Let me give you a few examples. ¿Cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos años tiene Cristina? Tengo 40 años. Ellos tienen 5 y 7 años. Number two, tener is used to indicate possession, just like in English. For example, mi hermano tiene 2 hijos. Number three, tener is used to express temporary physical or emotional states, such as sueño, frío, calor, miedo, hambre, sed, and cansancio, etc. So when in English you say, I'm cold, in Spanish you have to say, I have cold. So it would be, tengo frío. Another example would be, he's afraid. In Spanish you would have to say, he has fear. So it would be, él tiene miedo. One last example, I'm sleepy. In Spanish you would have to say, I have sleep. So that would be, tengo sueño. Let's do some practice. Let's translate the following sentences. Ready? Let's go. Number one, how old is this house? Number two, Mary has 3 computers. Number three, are you cold? Number four, my son is 5 years old. Number five, why are they afraid? Feel free to pause the video while you practice. Okay, so here are the answers. Number one, ¿cuántos años tiene esta casa? Number two, Mari tiene 3 computadoras. Number three, ¿tienes frío? Number four, mi hijo tiene 5 años. Number five, ¿por qué tienen miedo ellos? Or, ¿por qué ellos tienen miedo? How did you do? I hope you did great. Number three, we use tener when we want to describe people, things, or places. Okay, so let's start with people. When we describe people with tener, we have to include the definite articles. For example, when in English you want to say, Gustavo has brown eyes, in Spanish you have to say, Gustavo has the eyes brown. So that would be, Gustavo tiene los ojos marrones. Another example, Liliana has long hair. In Spanish you would have to say, Liliana has the hair long. So that would be, Liliana tiene el pelo largo. We also use tener when we want to describe temporary states. For example, when in English you want to say, your hands are dirty. That means that your hands are dirty right now. They're not always dirty. So in Spanish, you would have to say, you have the hands dirty. So that would be, tienes las manos sucias. Let me give you another example. His pants are wet. In Spanish, you would have to say, he has the pants wet. So that would be, él tiene los pantalones mojados. Now let's talk about tener to describe places or things. Okay, so when you want to say, my house has a garden. In Spanish, you would say, my house has garden. So that would be, mi casa tiene jardín. Let me give you another example. That house doesn't have a pool. In Spanish, you would say, that house doesn't have pool. So that would be, esa casa no tiene piscina. Notice that we don't use the indefinite articles here, a, an, so in Spanish that would be un, una, okay? In the last two examples, we used the words jardín and piscina. They're both singular countable nouns, okay? So now let me give you examples of sentences that have plural and also uncountable nouns. And let's compare these two sentences. My house doesn't have a garden. My house doesn't have any plants. In Spanish, we would say, mi casa no tiene jardín. Mi casa no tiene plantas. Okay? So we say, my house doesn't have plants. We don't use the word any in the sentence in Spanish. Let me give you another example. Rosa and Ernesto don't have any children. In Spanish, we would say, Rosa y Ernesto no tienen hijos. Okay? Now, let me give you an example with uncountable nouns. Okay? So, do you have any money? Money is an uncountable noun. So, in Spanish, we would say, ¿tienes dinero? We don't say, ¿tienes algún dinero? No, we just say, ¿tienes dinero? Let me give you another example. He has no patience. Okay? Él no tiene paciencia. Let's do another practice. Let's do another exercise. Okay, so let's translate the following sentences. Number 1, Antonio's shoes are dirty. Number 2, my bedroom has no windows. Number 3, the children's hands are clean. Number 4, we don't have any money. Number 5, does the city have an airport? Feel free to pause the video while you practice. Okay, so here are the answers. Number 1, Antonio tiene los zapatos sucios. Number 2, mi dormitorio no tiene ventanas. Number 3, los niños tienen las manos limpias. Number 4, no tenemos dinero. Number 5, esta ciudad tiene aeropuerto? How did you do? I hope you did great. All right, everyone, this is the end of this lesson. Today, you're one step closer to becoming a Spanish speaker. In lesson number 9, we're going to learn about the possessive adjectives, which are used a lot with the verb tener. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you in the next lesson. Hasta pronto.